need to know. First of all, if you did not submit a complete dichotomous key with your name on it, then I'm not gonna have much to give you as an assist for the quiz. So I'm gonna ask you to take the quiz anyway. And then next week we'll have 2 opportunities for a retake. On Monday at lunch, there will be a retake opportunity, and for those of you who can make it. And if you can't make it on Monday at lunch, then there will be another reassessment. It won't be a quiz, it'll be a different kind of reassessment. I'll work that out with you individually, and it's something that you can do outside of class. And you'll be able to do that to earn up to 80% of the possible points. I also talked to you all about the exception form. And this, for some of you, is going to be a way that you could potentially get an exception to the 80% limit. And basically, what I'm gonna propose is that if you feel like you have a really good reason for either not completing the dichotomous key, or not turning it in, or not putting your name on it, and you can get your parents and an administrator to agree with you, then we can waive the 80%. Still want you to take the quiz today, but if it turns out that, like, you know, when I told you all on Tuesday of this week, I said put your name on your dichotomous key and resubmit it. Some of you weren't here to hear that I needed your name on the dichotomous key. Pretty reasonable. And others of you may have an agreement with somebody else in the school that you feel like, okay, well, under this particular circumstance, it's okay that I didn't get the logistics, the nuts and bolts taken care of. So this would be something that you would do when you do the retake. For today, you're not gonna worry about this. When you do the retake, if you feel like I should be able to get 100% of the possible points, then you can fill this out. And then you'll need to talk to folks at home, make sure that they're on board with it, because what I would like is, if your folks feel like you need to, like, there needs to be some sort of consequence for you not doing something that you needed to do, I want to back them up. If they say, yeah, this seems reasonable, then we'll talk to administrator or counselor and see what they think, and go forward from there. I told you at the beginning of the year that I wasn't going to make individual exceptions, and the reason for that is because, unfortunately, sometimes people take advantage of me, and it's my thing. I'm easy to take advantage of, because what I would say, if I hadn't told you all at the beginning of the year no exceptions, I would be giving every single one of you an exception right now. I would say, it's fine. I would, like, let you print it off or use somebody else's or do this or do that. And the thing is, that ends up backfiring for both of us. Backfires for you, because then the message that you get is you don't really have to do the things that I'm asking. And it backfires for me because I eventually start to get resentful and I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. I don't want either one of those things. So we're gonna go through proper channels. If you feel like you deserve an exception, somebody else can approve that exception. And if they say okay, then I'm fine with it. All right, so enough about that. Everybody's gonna take, everybody in here with one exception that we're already worked out is gonna take the plant quiz. Everybody else, you're just gonna take it, see how you do, and then we'll figure out how to deal with the retake next week. I wanna go over what's gonna happen when we go outside, and I have to be honest with you. This was what I had planned to do on Tuesday anyway. Like, I actually had, if anybody looked at the module, this was all here, but we ran out of time. And so I just kind of deferred. So we went out. I felt like what we did was pretty valuable, because what you saw on Tuesday was where those transects are going. And now you can go out, we'll be able to go out and set them up again really easily. You know exactly where they go. You know how the meter tapes work. You know how the little stakes work. That part will be much simpler. And then when we go outside, this is the piece that is a little bit different. So in just a minute, I'm going to ask you all to set up 2 pieces of paper, one for the plant quiz, one for the vegetation cover. When we go outside, we actually have a pretty tight protocol for how we're going to collect the data. And here's how it's going to look. So there's a document online. You don't need to read through this whole thing. It's there for people who might find it valuable. But here are the important things. Number 1, we're only going to look at trees and shrubs. Forget about small plants. Number 2, we're going to look every 5 meters. So I said we're going to take those tapes and stretch them out for 30 meters. We're going to look every 5 meters. We'll start at 0. So that means we're going to collect data at 7 points along each tape. 0 meters, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So you just walk from between distances that are 5 meters apart along the tape. I picked tapes that are all calibrated in meters. You might have to turn them. Some of them have feet and inches on one side and meters on the other side. So you might have to turn it to find the correct meter length, but it'll be either 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, or 30, okay? And then this is don't do it yet, but in just a second, you're gonna make a data collection form. We have 5 meter tapes. So you're gonna ultimately need 5 of these, but my guess is you'll be able to get through it at most a couple today. So for today, you just need to make a couple. And you're gonna be looking at 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. In fact, I'll change this because that'll make more sense. So you'll see that in just a second. And at each point, you're just gonna stand there and you're gonna identify 2 things. 1, what's the dominant shrub in that area? 2, what's the dominant tree in that area? Here's how you're going to do those things. For the shrubs, look around in about a meter of each marker. So that's a meter is about this far, and so you'll make a circle. So basically, if you were to stand at the marker and spin around with your arms out, that's a circle of about a meter. You don't actually have to do that, but that's what you're looking for. And if you see a shrub within that circle that is sort of the dominant, the most common, the most abundant, the biggest, then that's the shrub that you record. And if you don't see anything, you write down none. Which shrubs are we looking at? Just the ones that we know. So you don't need, if you don't recognize it, you can just write other. If there's nothing there, you write none. Otherwise, write the ones that we know. So Himalayan blackberry, or vine maple, or Pacific dogwood. Those ones that you look at and you recognize, those are the ones that you're actually going to write down. For trees, it's even easier. You just look straight up. Whatever is directly above you, whatever you see the most of, that's the tree. Out in the area where we're looking, there's only 3 trees that you're gonna see. You'll see in a second, all of them are on the list that you can choose from, but most of you are only gonna see one of 3 trees, either Oregon ash, the white alder, or the Oregon white oak. Those are the only 3 trees that are out in that area that are likely to be right above you. Maybe there might be a big leaf maple as well. And again, you use other or none. So if you see something that you don't recognize, put other. If you look straight up and there is nothing, no trees, no branches, no leaves above you, then you write none, and that's it. So, and I'm gonna change this right now because I think it'll be a little bit easier to be consistent, but you're only gonna record data at 7 locations along each tape, which means you don't have to walk along the tape and try to figure out how much of the tape is being taken up by each plant. That's what we did with the stick percent cover, but we're modifying that technique for being outside, because outside is different and things are bigger, and this will be a lot easier, and reasonably accurate. When you come back from outside, there is a Google form, and the Google form, you're gonna put, so we'll talk about this in just a second. One person is gonna be sort of the point of contact for your group. So you put that person's name, and then for every transect that you look at, you're just gonna identify them by number. We're gonna take a little piece of flagging material and write a 1, 2, 3, 4, or a 5 on this, and tie it around the handle of the tape. So you'll know which transect you are by looking at the flagging on the tape measure. And they'll go clockwise around that area that we were the other day, starting with the one closest to us. So you can also remember, you could probably visualize it's gonna be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, based on where we set those out. And then at each point, you identify the dominant tree, and I put them in here for you, so you don't even need to, like when you enter the data, you're just gonna be clicking. And then I have the same thing for the shrubs. So you'll enter your tree and your shrub data for each of those transects one at a time. And like I said, my guess is today we'll only probably get through a couple of the transects. We're not gonna get much past that. If we can get 3, that's great, but if not, that's fine, okay? So that is, that's our plan. Before I have you make a couple of sheets of paper, does anybody have any questions? Okay, here's what I'm gonna ask you to do right now. You need 2 pieces of paper in front of you, just 2, you don't need front and back. On one of those pieces of paper, you're gonna write plant quiz and make sure you put your name on it. And then you're gonna number it, 1 through 14, there's 14 plant specimens. And I have it extending into 2 columns. That's fine, but you can also just write them down the side. I just didn't have enough room. So you see how quickly I did that? If I can do it that quickly, you all can do it reasonably quickly as well. It shouldn't take you more than a minute to write plant quiz, write your name, and then number 1 through 14. The second piece of paper, you're gonna put today's date, 10/2/25, and you can just write plant data. You're also gonna write your name, and then you only need to do this twice. If you have time, you can do it 3 times or more, but you're gonna have transect 1, and you're looking at 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30, and you're gonna have a space to write the shrub and a space to write the tree at that point. And you'll do that for at least 2 transects. So you'll have a transect 1 and a transect 2 with the same information on it. It'll be a 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30, okay? And this is gonna be the sheet that you take out with you when we're collecting data outside, and this is gonna be the sheet that you use for the plant quiz. The plant quiz, I have all 14 plant specimens that were on your dichotomous key, and what I've done is I've just made a little sheet of paper for each of the plants that either says common name or scientific name, and they're numbered. So we're not gonna do it in here, we'll move it into another room. Basically what'll happen is you will go around, you don't have to do them in order because you have the numbers here, just make sure that when you get to a plant, that you write the correct name, scientific or common name, by the number that's on your sheet, okay? And when you're done with the plant quiz, you'll come back into this room, and then we'll, after we've had enough time in both of our locations, we'll switch spots, and anybody who is outside will take the plant quiz. Anybody who is in here will go outside to do the vegetation stuff. Here's what I want you to hear. Don't panic if you did not get your dichotomous key done, if you did not get your name on it. If you're freaking out right now because of that, then understand that isn't the point of any of this. I do need you to do the stuff that I'm asking you to do. It's not just jumping through hoops. I literally spent an hour this morning printing out your dichotomous keys. I don't have time to track people down, to print things out and then match them up with whatever was turned in on Canvas. I need your help because I can't do that stuff for you. Having said that, I understand how important grades and stuff like this is for you. So that's what this is for. If you just dropped the ball and you know it, and the folks know it, and the counselors and administrators know it, then you're going to take a hit, and you can still get 80%. That's pretty good. You can still get up to 80%, but you will be capped at 80% if everybody agrees, yeah, that's reasonable under these circumstances. But if you feel like it's just not okay, and your folks feel like it's just not okay, and an administrator or a counselor says, yeah, this is not okay, then we'll do an exception, and you can still do the retake, but we'll grade you up to potentially 100% of the possible points. So if this applies to you, don't panic. Just take the quiz today, do how you do, and plan to do the retake next week. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about any of that? Yes, sir.
So is that for you to get up to 100% or get up to
So
80?
that's to get up to 100. Everybody has the opportunity to get up to 80, provided you did the work that was required before you took the quiz. Yeah.
And if we retake it and we do say we turned it in the key tonight, would we be able to use the key on
Yes.
time?
Yeah, great question. So if you get your if you don't do well today because you don't have your dichotomous key or it's not complete, if you get that finished, I'll print it out for you before you do your retake. And so you will have that tool to use. Yeah. Other questions? Okay.